Dickinson took over for Ann Landers. That popular advice column is now viewed by 22 million people a day in over 200 newspapers. And she's written a new book full of advice and her own experiences. So please welcome Amy Dickinson. Hi, Amy.
How are you? I got your letter. You know, busted in Brooklyn. Yeah. I'm all over it. Yeah.
Now, here's my question. You're not a shrink, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm so not.
You're not a therapist. So no. You're not really, you don't have like a sheepskin for this. So what exact experience do you have for this particular job?
Well, people, when they meet me, they check me out, and then they say, like, well, who made you God? You know, like, what qualifications do I have? And I have to say, I got there the hard way, you know, making mistakes, living my life.
School of hard knocks,
School of, I mean, I did what I had to do. Yeah.
Well, you must have been good at it for them to give you the job. So.
Well, I was a working journalist and a single mom, and I was 45 years old when I got this gig, and old enough to know better, and yeah.
Right. Can I ask you an odd question?
Sure.
Do you ever worry about the potential impact that your advice might have on folks?
Not until this second, so thanks a lot. Now, like, no, actually, I think about that every day when I answer these letters, because that's what it's all about. I mean, you really have an opportunity to influence people. And are you asking whether I feel like I've ever given, like, bad advice?
No, I just was curious. Do you say to yourself, boy, this letter in particular is giving me a little problem. I'm not sure how to answer this. So here's my answer, and hope it goes well.
Right. Yeah, like, good luck with that, right? Well, I do consult experts. I was a reporter. I was a reporter for many years. But sometimes I don't agree. So I'll quote the expert, and then I'll say, you know what? I don't agree. Yeah, here's what I think.
Do you have any advice for President Obama right now?
You know, I do like a guy who will say, I messed up.
I screwed up.
I screwed up. Like, it was so strange. I didn't know what to make of it. It was like, whoa.
Never heard it before.
Right. I mean, if only our kids would do that, right? Say, look, I admit it.
Cop to it.
Well, let's move on.
I want to talk about kids for a second, because I remember years ago, one of the most famous columns that Epi Letterer, who did the Ann Landers, the late Epi Letterer, who did the Ann Landers column, did a poll about whether women were happy they had children. Do you know about this? And there was a huge number that said no, especially if they were teenagers. And now, you said yourself there have been times in your life when you wanted to run away from motherhood. So we've been talking about this woman who has 14 children. So when you get letters, especially about raising children and motherhood, what do you tell them?
Well, and what mother hasn't wanted to retreat from motherhood? You know, I mean, I just think it's almost a universal thing. Look,
even if it's a small retreat, we all need something.
Listen, you sit in carpool line, and there comes a time when you're like, I may not pull up today. I don't want that kid to get in this car. But let me pass along, you know, not so much. My mother was an amazing mother, and she always said, it's a phase. Everything was a phase. And the thing about retreating from motherhood, guess what? You can't. Like, that's the answer to that.
Is that the answer? You write back and you say you can't.
You can feel that way. Yeah. You can feel that way.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
You can say it out loud. Yeah, and you know what? It's okay to say it. It's okay to say, like, you're on my last nerve. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But you can't retreat from motherhood.
Amy, in your book, The Mighty Queens of Freeville, I love the cover. You talk about your struggles with divorce, single parenting, how you took over Ann Landers. But then in here, you were married for 5 years, and your husband woke up one day and said he was not in love with you. He had never been in love with you. How did you handle that?
Don't you love the piling on? It's like, okay, you're not in love with me. Oh, I was never in love with you. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Sorry, I looked at you. I hate your face.
Here's how I handled it. I cried my eyes out. I had a baby. At the time, she was...
First you cried your eyes out, then you had
the baby. I had the baby, and I cried my eyes out, and I went home. I went home to my little hometown of Freeville, New York, and I let the women in my life, it's like Jane Seymour was saying, I let them help me.
So what if you can't go home? What do you tell other women when the guy is just not into you?
Well...
Your husband leaves you, or whatever.
You just have to push up your sleeves and keep going. It's terrible, but you do.
What did you say about motherhood? You can't get out of it. You're in it.
Like, you have to at some point accept and then embrace your own life.
Yeah.
Like, we have no choice. You know, Elizabeth, I was thinking about you. I know your grandmother passed away. Yeah. These women are like your grandmother. Like, I think we all have...
We're sisters. Sisters. I like to say
Sisters, Amy. Can you say we're sisters? Amy, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Amy Dickinson's book. We're her sisters. The Mighty Queens of Freeville is in stores now, and you're all taking home a copy. Summer